Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London. Today I'm looking at a book which has come to us from Edward Elgar Publishing Limited. They're an independent publishers of high quality academic publications, very highly relevant to lawyers and anybody involved in legal research. They do have a practitioners series, and we have in the past done some reviews of their academic works, and this is a final series of reviews that I'm doing for Elgar on their academic work. This one is on global capital markets. It's got a subtitle, A Survey of Legal and Regulatory Trends, and I think it would be of value not just to academics but also of course to practitioners. It's been edited by PM Vasudev and Susan Watson, and it's available online of course as well as a hardback book. Elizabeth and I have given a title of our book review the following: Regulation More or Less, a compendium of current thinking and research on global capital markets. And that's exactly what you get. Let's look at the book first. It's a hardback, only a small book. There's the spine, then there's the back. There's a little bit of blurb there and a very small amount about the two authors. Vasudev is an associate professor at the University of Ottawa, and Susan Watson is Professor and Faculty of Law at Auckland, New Zealand. The front of the book is there, as I say. Opening it up, it runs to not a particularly large number of pages, total number 244. The index at the back has page numbering, which is quite useful. Then, of course, what you do have, quite a substantial index. There's the beginning of the index there. And then what you're getting with each chapter is you get references, which is the bibliography, which is right at the back actually of each of the chapters. If I go to the front of the book, you can see there's the front page there. And then after that there's the blurb about the book, including how to use the online side of it. Then there's the contents section there. There are in fact three main parts. This is an edited book, so therefore there are contributors. That's the list of contributors, large number involved there, can't mention them all by name. Then you've got an introduction by the two main editors in talking about the context of the book itself. You can see that there's a bit of actual footnoting, and you've got subheadings, and you do have actual paragraph numbering in some of the actual chapters. And then, as I say, with each of the chapter at the end, the bibliography is called references, and in fact that's the more detailed information. It's a very highly researched book. As you can see, there's chapter 2 again, paragraph numbering and so on, and you can see the way it's run through, again very substantial cross-referencing. So very much in tune with the high quality of the Elgar publications. Now, like a lot of other legal publications, these are available online and as ebooks. But whether in fact people use them in that way, I do not know. I know from a practitioner's point of view that there are some concerns about using ebooks when we're actually using the cases in court and using the reference material in court, mainly because of cross-referencing. But each to his own, and as I say, you do have the facility both of the printed form and the online and ebook versions. Now, what do we say about the book when we say this? To regulate or not to regulate? That fundamentally is the question posed by this wide-ranging survey of the varying and always apposite analyses held by expert opinion on this subject across a range of jurisdictions worldwide. And a new title, which comes from Edward Elgar Publishing. They're an independent publishers, private independent firm of publishers, and they're based in Cheltenham, apart from other parts of the world, in Cheltenham and Gloucestershire. Now, they contribute significantly, this firm, and the title itself, to the ongoing debate. I use the word ongoing in a wide sense here. The ongoing debate on the extent to which the processes and procedures and generally the ethos of global capital markets should be subject to regulation, and if so, to what level. It is indeed a survey of legal and regulatory trends, and we all know what our views are about regulation. You also know we're leaving the EU on the basis that a lot of people felt there was over-regulation emanating from an undemocratic European Commission. And you can see, therefore, there's a wide political argument as well as a legal argument. And the issue of regulation, very much considered part of certain party political dogma, is an issue which has been a problem for a very long time. The fact is it's getting the balance between regulation, hence the opening comments that I've made. But with businesses having gone global for some time, there is a pressing need for informed and rational debate as opposed to doctrinaire rant on whether more regulation of financial instruments and transactions is necessary. If so, what kind and to what degree? And that really is where this book falls in. As I've said before, it is a problem, and it's one it's an issue that's not going to go away, because we are becoming more and more regulated as the decades roll by, and you can see the issues of people actually resenting it building up. Now, the dynamic ebb and flow of activity and innovation emerging in capital markets, and that's crowdfunding is cited as a typical example, continue to pose challenges for public policy and to point up, in the words of the editors, the need for checking market excesses. And this book therefore should attract the attention of a broad segment of international readers, from corporate lawyers to economists and social commentators, not to mention politicians and indeed anyone with the power to influence policy. And as a compendium of research within the area of concerns, this book provides, we think, extensive coverage of a wide range of issues, from investors and markets to cross-border enforcement, always a perennial popular issue now, to discussion of whether shareholder empowerment is an effective instrument for improved corporate governance. And one would have thought that this was a good idea depending on one's political ideology, and I'll leave it at that. But as I said to you right at the beginning, there is a political dimension, a party political dimension now to this issue. And such themes and theories, say the editors, are evident in the stories related in this volume from around the world. And it's divided into 3 sections, is the book, covering in part 1 investors and the stock market, which one is the question, is the immediate query. But any confusion here is quickly resolved, because part 2, capital markets, development and the law, contains an article dealing with corporate control enhancing mechanisms, mentioning China and the USA, and concluding in part that such mechanisms may well help firms to retain their valuable human capital, a core advantage, of course, in the digital age, although concerns here about corporate governance immediately arise. The book's 3rd section focuses on crowdfunding, including its unperceived effect on company law. And again, I think that issue is going to run for some time. Now, let me conclude by saying, although much of the discourse and analysis in this book is theoretical, it does reveal for the most part the speed at which theory can be transmuted into and applied in practice, as evidenced by the case studies cited from a number of regions, and that covers both Europe and North America, to India as a subcontinent, and of course China, which is a mass, a huge area, and probably one of the most important areas for the next 20 years. It's a timely and thought-provoking read, and it's a survey with its wealth of references which should be especially useful for those toiling in the diverse vineyards of comparative law, whether as students, researchers or practitioners. And the publication date is cited as at the 28th of August 2017, and I'm recording this at the end of the year. Here is the book, again, spine and then the back, just opening it up in the middle. You can see here, this is chapter 4, Revisiting Corporate Control Enhancing Mechanisms. You can see the way the book's structured. It's one that you want to read through. There is very little by way of footnoting, because all the referencing is actually at the back of the book itself. And again, I did think on this occasion that the index was extremely good, very detailed. I'd like to thank the authors and of course the contributors, and I'll just show you them again. Those are the contributors. I'd like to thank everybody very much for the work they've done. It's an important book, And thank you very much to Elgar for producing it. Good luck to all of you. Bye bye.